Joining me now is former Navy JAG officer Don Brown. Don, good to see you. Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell says this report is a complete exoneration of the secretary. What do you say?
Well, I know Sean. I agree with him. The report, and I've read it, does not find there were any compromises at all of any classified information, and it did recommend some beefed up procedures, not just in the secretary's office, but also at CENTCOM, which had sent some information over the day before. But there's been no finding of a violation of classified information being leaked. And the other point that is made is correct. The Secretary of Defense has the authority to declassify on the spot. And to the extent that anything happened, that may have happened, but it is shown that this whole thing is much ado about nothing. It's interesting, I think, just a week or so after we have the seditious six, and Hegseth calls for the court-martial, a call-up and court-martial of Mark Kelly. First, they tried this double tap thing with a second shot that the Washington Post claimed. New York Times rebutted that. This is a smokescreen, in my judgment, to try to take attention off the fact that Pete should and hopefully will call Mark Kelly up for a court-martial, but there has been no violation of the law here, and just got to tighten down procedures a little bit from CENTCOM to the Pentagon. That's my read on it.
Well, and to your point, I'm just going to read a little bit of the report's findings. The secretary sent sensitive, non-public operational information that he determined did not require classification. The secretary is the head original classification authority in the DoD based on Executive Order 13526, which, as a side note, was an executive order authorized by President Obama. That's just a side note. But it says it right here. He's the one who has the authority to classify or not. A classified version of this report was sent to Congress on Tuesday night. Apparently, already the partisan talking points have begun. It seems to really speak to journalistic ethics that this presumption of guilt narrative was being made with anonymous sources ahead of the report's release. Even if Hegseth were guilty, would these Inspector General report findings equal an indictment?
Oh no. And here's the thing. The president has already looked at this. This apparently boils down to Pete making a decision to declassify part of some information that came from CENTCOM, U.S. Central Command at MacDill Air Base in Florida. And that got on to this Signal app. And of course, the report says, hey, try not to use the Signal app, but it isn't a violation of the Espionage Act or anything showing the classified information improperly leaked at all, because Pete could have declassified the whole thing all at once. As you point out, the Department of Defense directive from the President of the United States gives Pete that authority. So no. And the other thing to remember is this, Alexandra, when you look at the history of the Democrats mishandling classified information from Hillary, who had some 14,000 classified, including top secret documents on her personal server. Or if you look at Joe Biden when he was vice president, taking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of documents to the Penn Biden Center. Or even look at James Comey, who let Hillary walk, but he himself passed on classified information deliberately to apparently a reporter, which is why he's going to be indicted again. There's nothing like that happened here at all. They're trying to derail Pete because they're afraid that he's been the best Secretary of Defense and now the Secretary of War, I think, in our lifetime. And he is about to bring the whip down, hopefully on Mark Kelly. They're trying to derail this. We got to focus on the facts. No finding of the mishandling of classified information. The Secretary of War has the authority to declassify. He wanted to do that. And apparently, if this were classified, he appears to have done that because it isn't the same information that he even received from CENTCOM.
Well, former Navy JAG officer Don Brown, thank you so much for your thoughts today. We appreciate it.